Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. The season is over. Free agency is just starting, but let's take a look back at the season predictions. And the man that has won this year's predictions, I believe did you win the draft or did you do
No, you won the
okay.
draft, Kevin. You swept the NHL. I didn't get so lucky with the NBA. But I did win the more important. I think the draft is the one I care the least about getting correct. I think I care a lot more about the playoffs is the one I care about the most. But I would say my season prediction is the one I care about the second most. So I'm really happy I won this.
Oh, congratulations to you. Did you have the Timberwolves making the playoffs this year?
I did. I had them as my fourth seed.
Yeah, they like you more than me, as where the famous drop came from with the Timberwolves. As I had them at 10. I don't know if you just want to go right into it. I'll take the East, the West. I only got 6 points.
Let's go West first because we already mentioned the Timberwolves.
Yeah. So the West, bad for me. I only got 6 points in this one. I had the Nuggets at 1, Lakers at 2, Kings at 3, Warriors at 4. I also had the Grizzlies making the playoffs. I won't go through everything. I'll just say my L's, which is the Lakers, Kings, Warriors, Grizzlies, all making the playoffs. I had the Suns missing the playoffs. I'm at 9, Timberwolves at 10, and then I had the Pelicans at 13. So that's my biggest, I take the L's on that one.
Yeah, that's definitely hurts. I had Nuggets, Suns. I'm really mad because I had Clippers, Timberwolves instead of Timberwolves, Clippers. Really close on that. I had the Warriors at 5. That's probably my worst. No, it's either Warriors at 5 or Mavs at 11. I'm not that mad. I had Mavs at 11. They only finished as a 5 seed. I think the Warriors is the one I'm a little bit more angry at.
Especially, if I may interrupt about the Mavs, especially the Mavs team at the start of the year. Because the Mavs were a different team once they got
100%.
Washington and Gafford. I think they were borderline around 11 with that team.
Yeah, they were. Through the first half of the year, I was really happy with my prediction. But it turned out that the Mavs could turn it around. You and I both had the Jazz at 12, which I find interesting. We both got +3 for that. And then the Lakers during the regular season were 8 and then won their game to get to 7. So I get +3 still because it's the regular season. And then I get the -1 for the Kings at 9 because I had the Kings making the playoffs, even though they got 9. Wait, the Kings actually got 9. Kevin, I am horrible today. I'm actually horrible because the Kings got 9. So I'm gonna have to
last year to you, and in a much more critical spot where it was borderline. And
last year, I remember this. Last year, it changed to 1. That's what made me mad. I'm fine with the mistake. It's the fact that the mistake changed. I was winning the entire video. And at the end, you're like, oh, wait. And then you changed it, and it was you winning. I was like,
yeah.
I found my whole day thinking I won this challenge, and instead, Kevin actually beat me. So I'll do some recalculations on this real quick. I think it should add 2 points, which will give me 13 in the West, and I'll end up with 30 points overall.
I had 21 overall for the listeners. I had 21 points. And for the video, it's the maximum you can get is 3. I think
you get 2 points for the right spot, and 1 point for either making the playoffs or missing the playoffs. So the reason why I only get +1 for the Kings got 9, so I get +2, but I get -1 because I had the Kings in the playoffs. And for example, at the Grizzlies at 7, I get +1, because I had the Grizzlies missing the playoffs, but I only get +1 because I only had them missing the playoffs. They didn't actually get 7. So I finished with 13 in the West. We can move over to the East, and Kevin, this is one of my greatest predictions in my opinion. Magic get number 5. They win the division at 5. I was extremely happy about that. My top 5 in the East goes +3, +1, +1, +3, +3. My top 5 is just very close. I mean, the Bucks were Giannis injury away from getting 2. The 76ers at 3 could have been Embiid. Maybe the Knicks lose a couple more games against the Sixers and Bucks if those other teams are fully healthy. But I only had one miss, Kevin. I had the Hawks making the playoffs as the 9 seed. I had the Nets at 8, but I get +1 because I had the Nets missing the playoffs. But I had the Hawks making the playoffs and the Pacers missing. So that's my one miss, is that the Pacers were supposed to make the playoffs and they did not. So I got 7 out of the 8 playoff teams right. While in the East, in the West, I got 2 teams wrong because I had the Warriors and Kings making the playoffs, and instead it was the Pelicans and the Mavs. But getting, 13 out of a possible 16 teams correct in the playoffs total. So I'm happy about that.
Yes, very impressive. Congrats to you on that. I also went 7 for 8, but I was off. I had the Bucks at 1. I just was missing. I had the Magic at 11, and I had the Nets at 8. So that's the one playoff team I missed, which is a big miss with the Magic. I did get +3 with the Hornets and Wizards. But
what I do find really interesting, Kevin, so you had the Hornets at 13, the Wizards at 14?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I do find interesting is that in my West, I had the Mavs at 11, and they finished at 5. And in the East, you had the Magic at 11. The Magic, so it's Mavs Magic, which they already sound familiar. They already both wear blue, but you got them wrong because they finished 5th, and you had them at 11. So both of us had a 5th-seeded team ranked 11 on one of the 2 conferences. So it's not that bad. It's the same level of miss as I had with the Mavericks. I know the Mavericks ended up making a finals run and all that other stuff, but this is just where are they going to finish? This isn't necessarily how they're going to do in the playoffs.
And the thing that I'll kind of, you couldn't really predict that Mavericks team just because that team drastically changed at the deadline.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree. I think I had the Wizards at 13. I think if the Wizards didn't trade Gafford and trade some of the other guys, they could have finished at 13, but they only won like 2 or 3 games after they traded Gafford because of how important he was to the team. So yeah, you're definitely right. The way the trades impact the season, it's very hard to predict.
Yes, but the Magic, that was the same team throughout. So I didn't believe. I thought it was going to take a little bit, but they really burst onto the scene. I'm really excited to see what they do. We'll talk about we'll talk about free agency and other moves. I still think there's a lot going on. By
the time this video has been posted, we would have already posted our early NBA free agency recap. So go listen to that. The Magic have made some interesting moves. I'm excited to see how the season goes.
Yeah, and Mavs have made some moves. So we've talked about that in the video. So thank you for listening, and make sure to check that out. And we post daily. I don't know, it is already halfway through the year, and we have done halfway through the year. We have not missed one, Austin. So
that's all kudos to our editor and video poster, Kevin.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's a big group. You of course come up with the schedule, come up with the title. So it's a big team effort. But we've officially made it halfway, and you've probably heard that in the other video if you're a daily listener. But that's all we got. Any final thoughts, Austin?
Nope. I'm excited for next year. Hopefully, I can go back to back in the NBA and maybe get back to you in the NHL.
Oh yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be here before we know it, and we'll keep you covered throughout that. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.